Smart Hashtag 3 is the more affordable, trendy, all-electric coupe SUV you didn't know existed. Think small Mercedes EV crossover with a bit of extra youthful flair, and you're somewhere close to what this car is trying to be. It turns heads, feels quite sporty, and has a younger outlook on life. There's lots to like.
We're all having to readjust our perceptions of what the Smart brand stands for. Once a maker of tiny microcars, it's now realigning itself as a purveyor of much bigger, pricier and more profitable lifestyle-orientated compact electric models. A shift confirmed by this contender, the Smart Hashtag 3. In essence, this is a coupe SUV version of the Smart Hashtag 1 hatch that in 2022 began the brand's new era of joint ownership between Mercedes and the Chinese Geely conglomerate. But at this Smart Hashtag 3 model's launch in 2023, it was clear that a lot more had been done here than just adding a slinkier shape. This more aspirational model's stretched wheelbase allows it to be an even larger interpretation of what a smart car can be. Plus, lowered suspension aims to make it sportier to drive too. With this car then, Smart is pushing up market. But can this Hashtag 3 justify those aspirations? You'll need the usual comprehensive car and driving road test to find out. The days of feebly performing smart models that struggled outside the city limits are long behind us. The mid-range premium version of this Smart Hashtag 3 that we have here, the model many will choose, develops a useful 268 brake horsepower and 343 Newton meters of torque from its single rear-mounted e-motor, which propels the car with satisfying urgency. 62 miles an hour from rest dispatched in just 5.8 seconds en route to the 111 mile an hour top speed that all Hashtag 3s share. The 62 kilowatt hour battery, that's usable capacity, gives 283 miles of range, 10 miles more than the equivalent Smart Hashtag 1 thanks to sleeker aerodynamics. If you don't need quite that much, there's an entry-level Pro model with a smaller 47 kilowatt hour battery, but that's limited to 202 miles of range. As with the Hashtag 1, there's an all-wheel drive Brabus version at the top of the range, which gains an extra motor at the front axle, boosting power output to 422 brake horsepower. With the provided rocket start launch control system engaged, yes, it really is called that, 62 miles an hour with that top version flashes by in just 3.7 seconds and the range figure is 258 miles. Whatever Hashtag 3 variant you choose, it'll immediately feel sportier than the equivalent Hashtag 1, thanks to the lower, more focused driving position, stiffer springs and dampers, and marginally wider tyres. The car also gets its own stability control tuning and steering configuration, which can be adjusted by the driver for weight. There are the same drive modes though, Eco, Comfort and Sport, plus an extra Brabus mode on the top version. The prodigious curb weight is familiar from the Hashtag 1 too. This premium version tips the scales at 1,810 kilograms, which makes it about 60 kilograms heavier than a Hashtag 1. There are two brake regeneration settings which you alter via the center touchscreen, standard and strong. The latter isn't quite fierce enough to facilitate one-pedal driving. Ride quality is fine, and refinement is as hushed as you'd expect from an EV, spoiled here only by quite a lot of highway tyre roar. Towing capacity is rated at 1,600 kilograms, though goodness knows what that would do to the EV range figures. As with the Smart Hashtag 1 and most new cars we test these days, the speed limit buzzer is intrusive and needlessly awkward to disable. As is the driver monitoring system that's supposed to admonish you not just for feeling tired, but for looking at the center screen for too long. If you happen to be familiar with the Smart Hashtag 1, you'd recognize this Hashtag 3 model because quite a bit of the design language is shared. especially at the front with its rounded nose section, A-shaped lower grille and slimline LED headlights. But the Hashtag 3 sits on a much longer version of the SEA Geely platform that Smart currently builds its cars upon, shared with the Volvo EX30. That means a 4.4 metre body length that's around 130 millimetres longer than the Hashtag 1, and a sleek silhouette that's lower and wider too. Whether it's any kind of coupe is debatable. It sits no lower than a boxy Volkswagen ID3 hatch, but there's certainly nothing that looks quite like it in its crowded segment. At the back, Smart has done the job properly, giving this Hashtag 3 a bespoke rear end rather than just adding a slantier hatch to the Hashtag 1. There's the brand's characteristic slim full-width light panel and a subtle rear spoiler. Right, time to take a look inside. The car unlocks itself as you approach, and the front and rear light bars perform a little animated welcome as the Smart branded concealed electric door handles pop out. The interior is much different to that of the Hashtag 1, though you'll find yourself sitting much lower in the car than you do in one of those. There are sportier looking seats with neat little metal silver highlights and integrated headrests too, which prove to be decently supportive. As with this model's hatch stablemate, physical switchgear is scarce, with almost everything controlled through the freestanding 12.8-inch central touchscreen. As with this car's lesser stablemate, this monitor takes some getting used to, with a range of wacky graphics that, as with the Hashtag 1, include an animal mascot, though here for some reason it's a cheetah rather than a fox. This central monitor is a tech trendsetter's dream, using an AI-based infotainment system based around Geely's Ecarx tech and a fast Qualcomm Snapdragon 8155 intelligent chipset with 7nm process technology and an 8-core CPU processor. No, we don't understand what all that means either, but Smart claims this setup to be class-leadingly advanced, and we wouldn't doubt it. There's certainly plenty here, with a 3D interface and over-the-air updates, as well as navigation, music streaming and Bluetooth, the usual Apple CarPlay and Android Auto smartphone mirroring systems come included. Plus, you get Spotify's pre-installed system as standard, and there's 4G Wi-Fi, and the system's set up for podcasting and in-car games. It's all very on trend. As in the Hashtag 1, a minimalistic and shiny finished dash wraps itself around you. Buttons are largely banished, and instead of an instrument binnacle, what you actually get is a narrow letterbox shaped 9.2-inch HD digital instrument screen viewed through the jaunty 3-spoke Smart branded wheel. Perhaps this is the kind of thing Tesla would create were it to design a car for this segment. Certainly some of the instrument screen graphics suggest influence from that US EV giant, particularly the centrally placed virtual car depiction that accompanies you as you drive. This is flanked on the left by readouts for speed, battery charge and range, and on the right by briefings on time, mileage, temperature, drive mode and gear selection. Everything, in other words, that you really need to know without the whole effect being too cluttered. Now, on premium and Brabus models, it's supplemented by a head-up display. There's plenty of cabin storage space too. Part of the reason this centre console's high is so that it can free up space for this simply huge stowage area lower down, which is large enough to take a small carrier of shopping or a big handbag. Smaller items go in hidden compartments along the top of the console. And between the seats is a lidded cool box with a slot for your charging card. Ahead of that is another lidded compartment which conceals twin cup holders and a pen slot, and angled towards the ambient lighting framed twin vents in the centre of the fascia is a final compartment with a 12-volt socket, a couple of USB-C charging ports, and, provided that you've avoided base trim, a wireless phone charging mat. There's also a big glove box, decently sized door bins, ticket clips in the sun visors, and the overhead sunglasses compartment that most competitors tend to forget. The back seat feels more spacious than the swept back roofline suggests it might be for heads and for legs, but the bench doesn't slide like it does in a #1 or recline, and you wouldn't want to have to cram in a centre-seated adult. All variants get this huge panoramic glass roof as standard, which has a heavy tint rather than a powered blind. There's the usual central armrest with cup holders, decent door bins, seat back pockets, these little quarter-light windows, and little circular overhead lights. And Smart provides both USB-A and USB-C ports with a cubby beneath. Ambient lighting on the front seat backs and around the central vents adds a classy feel. Out back, the powered tailgate has no manual catch and gesture control with the two top trim levels. Now the hatch rises to reveal boot space that's a bit on the small side, rated at 370 litres, though that's actually 43 litres more than you get in a #1. An adjustable height boot floor is provided, under which you'll need to store the charging cables. Netted storage areas are provided on each side, and there's a 12-volt socket on the right. There are 4 tie-downs and bag hooks on both cargo walls. If you've long items like skis to carry, the provided ski hatch will come in useful. There's 1,160 litres available with the 60/40 split rear bench folded. Now in theory you don't have to fit everything in the rear because Smart provides a further frunk space beneath the bonnet. Unfortunately it's lunchbox sized, just 15 litres, so we don't really know what you'd use it for. Expect to pay a premium of around £1,000 over a Smart #1, which at the time of our test in summer 2024 saw the entry-level Pro version with the smaller 47 kilowatt-hour battery costing around £33,000. Ideally though, you'd want a Smart #3 with the larger 62 kilowatt-hour battery. These variants start with the mid-level 62 kilowatt-hour Pro Plus variant costing around £37,000. Then there's this plusher premium model costing from around £40,000. You'll need around £45,000 for the high-performance Brabus version. Smart doesn't have any Solus UK dealerships. There are currently around 35 Mercedes-Benz franchises in the UK that also sell Smart models, where the brand occupies its own separate space in the showroom with a dedicated Smart salesperson on hand. And rivals? Well, there are lots of sporty compact electric crossovers and SUVs at the £37,000 to £40,000 bracket that most versions of this #3 will be sold in, but almost none of them classify themselves as a fashionable coupe SUV in the way that this Smart does. For that, you generally have to go upper class and look at vastly more expensive models like the Ford Capri, the Volkswagen ID.5 or the Skoda Enyaq Coupe. In this #3 model's lower size segment, the only car that markets itself as a coupe SUV is the BMW iX2, and as we filmed, one of those cost from over £51,000. If, having considered the more affordable but rather duller compact EV crossover alternatives at this price point, think Kia EV3, Cupra Born, Volkswagen ID.3 and so on, you conclude that it is a Smart #3 that you really want, you're going to need to know just how generous the brand has been with standard kit. So let's take a look at that now. All models get 19-inch wheels, a fixed panoramic halo sunroof, CyberSparks LED headlights, roof rails, rear privacy glass, a powered tailgate, keyless entry, LED tail lamps, all-round parking sensors, and a 360-degree parking camera. you also get drive modes, Eco, Comfort and Sport, and adaptive cruise control with a stop and go function. Inside, with all smart #3 models, there's heating, 6-way power adjustment and lumbar support for the front seats, plus automatic 2-zone climate control, a 9.2-inch full LCD HD instrument cluster, an auto-dimming interior mirror, and little touches like ambient lighting and stainless steel door tread plates. Media connectivity is taken care of by a 12.8-inch central display touchscreen, complete with an intelligent voice assistant, Bluetooth, a DAB digital radio, and Apple CarPlay and Android Auto smartphone mirroring. Also included is a 4G Wi-Fi hotspot, over-the-air updates, and a 1-year trial of a premium connectivity package, which gives you unlimited data, stolen vehicle tracking, and map updates. The Pro Plus trim level adds faux leather seats, a wireless charging mat, and the brand's Pilot Assist pack of camera drive assist features. More on those in a moment. If you can stretch as far as the premium spec model that we're trying here, you'll also get Matrix LED Plus headlights with adaptive high beam, a heat pump, which will help extend the battery's driving range in cold weather, and automatic parking assist, which will automatically slot the car into tight spaces. Plus, from premium spec, there are extra little touches like a specific design of 19-inch wheel, illumination for the concealed door handles, scrolling dynamic indicators, and gesture control for the powered tailgate. Inside, with premium spec, there's a 10-inch head-up display, a wireless phone charger, and a 13-speaker 640-watt Beats sound system. And the cabin's upgraded with extended 64-colour premium ambient lighting, illuminated door tread plates, and plusher duo faux leather upholstery. That only leaves the top AWD twin-motor Brabus model set apart by a sporty body kit and its own 20-inch synchro wheel design with red brake calipers. Inside, Brabus spec is set apart by microfiber suede upholstery and sports-style pedals. Plus you get a simulated engine sound under acceleration and an extra Brabus drive mode. What about options across the range? Well, there really aren't any. The only standalone option we could find was a towing package available as we filmed for £1,262 including VAT. On to safety provision across the range. To help justify the asking prices, there's a lot of it. Let's start with the camera-based stuff. There's the usual front and rear collision mitigation autonomous braking system, plus a whole host of stuff to keep you properly in lane. Lane departure warning, lane keep assist, emergency lane keep assist, lane departure prevention, and lane change assist. There's also blind spot detection to stop you from dangerously pulling out in front of another vehicle, adaptive high beam, and a door open warning feature. Semi-autonomous drive stuff includes traffic jam assist, which will basically drive the car for you in low-speed stop-start traffic, and highway assist, which will do the same kind of thing at cruising speeds. Plus, there's intelligent speed assist, which, if set, will use the standard traffic sign recognition system to automatically adjust your speed to posted limits. All the usual passive features are included too, of course. 7 airbags, the usual electronic assistance for braking, stability and traction, and an e-call system that will automatically give the rescue services your GPS location in the event of an accident where the airbags go off. As a result of all this, the #3 received the full 5 stars in industry standard Euro NCAP safety tests. We gave you some of the battery mileage figures in our driving section. 202 miles for the entry-level 47 kilowatt-hour Pro version, then 270 miles for the 62 kilowatt-hour Pro Plus, 283 miles for the Premium, and 258 miles for the Brabus. Range is optimised by the car's slippery shape and aided by features like an active grille shutter and concealed door handles. On this test, we've got pretty close to the claimed efficiency figure of 3.5 kilowatt hour. we've found that the range indicator has usually overstated the remaining battery mileage by about 25%, which is not unusual with an EV. The battery sizes we're quoting here are usable capacity ones, not the rather irrelevant total capacity kWh figures Smart likes to use. The larger lithium, nickel, cobalt, manganese 62 kilowatt hour battery can DC public charge at up to 150 kilowatts, which means that a top up from 10 to 80% can be completed in half an hour. The base Pro model's 47 kilowatt hour lithium iron phosphate battery can only charge at up to 130 kilowatts. Again, 30 minutes is needed for a 10 to 80% DC charge. If you're AC charging from home, a 10 to 80% charge of the 62 kilowatt hour battery with a 7.4 kilowatt garage wall box takes 7.5 hours, or 3 hours in the unlikely event that you can charge it up to 22 kilowatts. It's 5.5 hours with a 7.4 kilowatt garage wall box charging the 47 kilowatt hour battery. Full battery replenishment, by the way, takes a lot longer. A 7.4 kilowatt garage wall box needs 12 hours 45 minutes to completely charge the 62 kilowatt hour battery from empty to full. What about the peace of mind that you'd want from a potentially unfamiliar brand? Well, there's a 3-year unlimited mileage warranty, an 8-year 125,000 mile warranty for the battery, and every car comes with an integrated service package covering servicing and wear and tear items for 3 years or 30,000 miles. Plus there's roadside assistance for up to 8 years or 100,000 miles, provided the car is maintained at a Smart after-sales partner. As usual with an EV, until 2025, you'll get free VED road tax, a 2% benefit in kind taxation rating, and free entry to the London congestion and ULEZ charge zones. Insurance groupings start at 33 for the smaller battery Pro version, then rise to 34 for the Pro Plus, Group 36 for this premium model, and Group 41 for the top Brabus. This doesn't feel like a car from a brand that's been around for 3 decades. The pretty styling is fresh, so is the cabin design, which is more what you'd expect from a company new to the market. But then so also is the need for a bit more fine-tuning with regard to the usability of the multimedia software and the driver assistance tech. If you can look past that, there's lots to like with this #3. It's excellent value, and the appealing shape doesn't compromise cabin practicality or boot space too much. Build quality from the Chinese factory seems good, and both performance and driving range are well up to scratch. In short, the #3 is a decent step forward from the #1, a mark of Smart's upward trajectory. Don't saddle the mark with preconceptions based on its past. This is really a new Chinese brand, and if it continues making cars like this, there's definitely a place for it.